Hello, Amit. Good afternoon. Welcome
Good
to
afternoon, Srihari.
South Asian Academy of Wisdom and Skills. It is a new vertical called Exploration. So, Exploration campaign is all about online discussion with experts from industry and from academics and from research and spirituality and many other disciplines of the enlightened life. So, let us come straight to the discussion. So you have been into industry for almost 15 years, am I right?
More than that, 20 years now.
Or more than 20 years. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So now we will be discussing about the organization and the transformation, the leadership, and the change that you bring into the entities that you come across. So first of all, let us hit the first question. What do you think about the word organization means?
Okay. So organization in by the word, right?
Yeah.
It's for me, it's a collection of people, resources,
Yeah.
processes, etc.
Yeah.
Right? That has come together for creating value.
Yeah.
So it's basically a value creation machine which includes processes or practices, which includes people and which includes resources, right? So it's a system. And that system is primarily comes together for one purpose, one common purpose. And that purpose can be anything, but end of the day, it's a positive sum game, right? Whatever the inputs are there, it should create more value than what it takes. That's my understanding or my opinion of an organization is. That's how I would define an organization.
See, many students think that organization is some kind of entity and some very larger space where all miracles happen. Do you agree with that statement?
No, see, organization, it's not miracle. See, end of the day, even a small community that is running, even a puja pandal, right? In the schools, you form a small committee which will decide on a Ganesh puja,
Yes.
celebrate Ganesh puja. That's also an organization.
Mhm.
A big organizational entity like Elon Musk's company, Google or Apple, those are also organizations. Those are smaller NGO organizations. Even for that matter, government is also an organization, right?
Yeah.
So, so the only thing is that what binds them together is that common purpose. So they come together for one common purpose. Now, is that purpose for a temporary need or for a more permanent need, right? It's a long-term need or a short-term need for which you come together and form an organization.
Yeah.
So it's no miracle. I think the miracle is in creation of the value, right? In creation of going after bringing multiple diverse thoughts, people, practices, and aligning them to that one common purpose. That's what the true miracle of organization is.
Yeah, that's fine. See, researchers and academicians have got one fixed idea that organizations and development will go hand in hand. What is your take on it?
How do you define development? What do you mean by development when you say development?
Yeah, so we think that development is a change. It's a kind of a new improvement. The newness that you bring into the very course of life, that we call it as development. What is your view about organizational development?
When you say newness that way, right? Like creation of something new.
Yeah.
That's part of the ethos or the purpose of an organization, but there's also about maintaining the status quo, right? It's not always about building something new, but mostly it is about maintaining what you have already built. Systems, processes, products, tools that are currently in the market, that are currently being used by your customers. You have to maintain them. You have to provide value. And things go wrong, right? So it's about maintaining the systems, it's about debugging the systems, it's about adapting to the changing needs of the customer.
Okay.
Right? So it's not about necessarily creating new value, but because the environment changes, because your customer changes, so that means your needs changes. You need to adapt, pivot, and create the value, right?
Okay.
Now, there is one small portion of it. So organization, if you ask me in real world,
Yeah.
only 10 to 15% of the organization is actually invested in building something new, building a
Yes,
new
yes.
value for the
Yeah,
customer,
yeah.
right?
True. Yeah.
Most of the core organization is actually there to maintain value, to maintain the level of service, maintain the tools, products, services that we have defined for the customer
Okay.
at an acceptable level of efficiency and effectiveness,
Okay.
right? So it should not be too slow so that it's not valuable for the customer.
Okay.
It cannot be too buggy, right? If for every change you want to go and fix, like a pump not working, like you have to keep on going and tightening screws every time you want to run a pump, then nobody will buy that pump for you,
Yes, yes.
right? Or nobody will buy that machine from you.
Mhm.
So the machine has to run. Machine cannot break after 2 or 3 uses.
Okay.
So there has to be resiliency built in.
Mhm.
There has to be, maintenance built in, and also some level of customer. So if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
there should be a customer service facility available, which will come back and help you there, right? Saying that, okay, what is happening with you, and can I talk to you? Can I send you a representative who can come and fix that machine or fix that code that you're writing? So yeah, so all these things are part of the organizational workflow.
Okay.
The new value or the newness of it is just a small part of it. You have to be there to be relevant in the future. So
Okay.
there is the past, present, and future, right? The bug fixing, everything is about past.
Yeah.
Whatever you sold in the past, you have to do that. Present is about maintaining your current level of services, selling your current products that are available. The small bit of the future is about, okay, building new products, building new services, anticipating customer demand, as anticipating customer needs, and trying to build or respond to that, pivoting, creating new services there. So that's how an organizational
Development.
bucket list of things is there. Now, development can come from either ways, right? I'm not sure how development will be defined. Development, because sometimes development is also it can be looked at not just for the customer products, but is also for the internal associates, right? Because so there is an external facing part of it and there is an internal facing part of it.
Yeah.
So you cannot just develop, maintain things for the external facing part, which is the customers, suppliers, vendors, etc. It's also about inward looking. So you have to be outward looking in an organization as well as inward looking. The inward looking part of development comes to development of associates, which is part of the resources that you have, developing systems, developing products, platforms, etc., which can support that external need, right? So you have to invest in
There
both.
is
So
one catch
organizations,
here.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. To continue
sure.
your thesis, you said that the word system. So what this system is all about? We generally discuss in classrooms that system, structure, and people are the part of any organization. Now, can you define these 3 words: system, structure, and people?
Yeah. So if you define it in the same way, the organization being part of system, structure, and people, the way systems will be defined are the practices, policies, the value systems that you do, the culture, right? That drives decision making, that drives the flow of the workflow.
Yeah.
If you have certain input, certain resources, what is that workflow? What is the process that you follow to create value at the end of the road, right? So that is the whole system. So once you have the right people, talent in the organization, once you have the right structure in which they are communicating, the work structures, the hierarchies are built, the departments, etc., are built out, the systems will take care. The system is a mixture of policies, is a mixture of workflows, and these are the hard visible ones, right? The top of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg kind of things.
Yeah.
The bottom of the iceberg things are basically your culture, value systems, right? So your leadership qualities, things that you hold good, things that you don't want to compromise on, right? And that that differentiates one organization from the other, right? So are you valuing pace over resiliency? Are you okay to cut some corners versus are you never cut corners and you'll go the right way, right? So these are value systems, these are software aspects that also the culture drives leadership, and sometimes the leaders drive culture. Both are a two-way street there, right? So that for me defines system. Now I don't know the academic, the bookish definition of a system, right? But this is for me. My experience is only from on the ground. I've never read about it formally, right? I'm not trained an MBA. I'm not trained anything. It's just experience. So this is what system means for me. You can tell me how you define system.
The system is, systems are driven by goal. Okay, I completely agree with you. Systems are driven by goal. They are driven by some kind of a process. And sometimes systems are formed out of the invention of new technology. For example, I give one classic example that the computerization of banks changed the whole system of banking. So there we use the new banking system. It happened in almost everyone's life nowadays. In the last 10 to 15 years, with the emergence of new millennium and new technology, the word system, the definition of the word system has completely got transformed. There's a paradigm shift in it. Yeah. So yeah, I want opinions from you. I'm an academician, I have limited knowledge. And yeah, how do you define about the word structure?
For me, structures are way the resources are aligned, right? The alignment defines the structure for me. So when I say resources, structures can be the way work is aligned, the way people are aligned, and how work is being aligned to people, etc. So that defines your structures.
Okay.
Structures for me, I don't know if where the measures will come in, right? So in that star model, right? If you remember Gibrath or some star model, you have people, structure, systems, measures, and performance, or measures and performance go together. So there is performance measures also, right? So you have to define how do you measure success? How do you define a vision, purpose, or vision, right? So these are the 5 pillars of anything, any organization. So yeah. So for me, structures are the way work is aligned, and the way people are aligned to that workflow.
Okay, nice. So, and the definition of people is very simple. They are employees and they need to be trained and they need to be adjusted to the culture of the organization.
Yeah.
Can you throw some light on
I
this?
do yes and to that, Srihari.
Yeah.
It is not just employees, it is also your vendors, your suppliers,
Yeah,
right?
customers. Yeah.
So contractors that are working with you. So it might not be your direct employees. Of course, direct employees are someone you are solely responsible for.
Yeah,
But you also they are also people that are connecting with you, right? So you have to think about those lines as well.
Yes, yeah. So people means it's a encompassing the aspect. It is not one section. It is not just employees. Yeah, I second with you. Employees, contractors, suppliers, stakeholders, shareholders. Yeah,
Yes,
I
actually
always
true. Very
give
true.
this example to students. They ask me who are stakeholders. I simply say your parents are stakeholders to this institution. Because if one student fail in a subject or if he fails to get a degree, that parent will fall behind the institution and tries to take some vengeance. I have loaded my son and fees and the student got failed. So the reputation of institution will get affected if there is one dissatisfied parent. The same happens with every business and every system and every setup. So yeah, that's the point. Now see, now let us get into the another realm called transformation. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I want your insights about the word transformation. Yeah.
Okay. So transformation, I think, for me, that word has been misused a bit. So we just attribute transformation to any change, anything that is there. Okay, I'm developing something new. I'm transforming? No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. So there are 2 things in a transformation. One is as is and to be.
Yeah.
So where am I
Mhm.
today? Am I clear? Do I have clarity on my position, my values, my workflows, the resources, etc.? And that's my as is. And where do I want to be? Right. And from that want to be, there's a different question that, okay, what is my vision? Right. As an organization, of course, we establish that organization exists for the sole purpose of creating value, a purpose, right? Now, is my system working today and creating that value that I want to create? If the system is working, then we don't need to transform. The as is good enough. We should continue maintaining that, right? But then if there is a gap, or if there is an opportunity to make it faster, more effective, better, then yes, there is a opportunity to transform. And then you decide that, okay, by changing what aspect of the organization, you'll get better at it. You will go for the desired results or the desired outcome. And then you define a transformation, saying that, okay, I want to transform my organization from point A to point B, and that's some transformation, right?
Okay.
And then after the transformation is defined, that's the purpose of the transformation. Then the structure of the transformation comes in, saying that, okay, how do you measure success of the transformation? Who are the right people for the transformation? Who should be touched? What are the right systems that will be touched in the transformation? What timeline do we have, etc., etc., right? How do we? So all those things comes later. That's all change management process. But I think the starting of the transformation, people don't necessarily invest enough time in it,
Okay.
which is about defining as is and to be, the point A and point B, saying that, okay, and because otherwise it's like infinite change, right? You're constantly changing. Change is infinite,
Yeah.
but transformation is not. Transformation is not infinite. Transformation is for a certain purpose. You
Okay.
have to define that purpose and see as to what change will help you get there. And that's the transformation that you want to go after.
So, to drive organization and to bring transformation, we need some mechanism called leadership. Since you are expert in this leadership aspect, can you give your insights about it? How a ideal leader should be? The book
Not,
defines that, yeah, just a minute,
yeah.
I'll just continue. The book defines there are three kinds of leaders, that is autocratic, democratic, and free reign leadership. Can you throw your thoughts on these three things and the whole holistic aspect of leadership?
Okay. I'm no expert. That's what I was trying to say. But so there is another concept that has come and called as situational leadership.
Yeah.
So I feel leadership is about facilitating the transformational process. It's about facilitating a system or facilitating an organization towards its desired purpose or desired value or desired outcome, right? So leader's role is that of a facilitator, is that of supporting that whole system towards that desired purpose. Now, uh, you come to sorry. So when you say leadership, right? So leadership can. So I talked about situational leadership. So
Yeah.
what do you mean by situational leadership? Is about understanding the context of the situation. So you adapt. So you talked about autocratic, democratic. There's a laissez-faire kind of a thing also. Delegation as a leadership style.
Okay.
So if you search on internet on leadership styles, you might get
Yeah.
seven, eight,
Number
roughly
of
leadership
them.
styles,
Mm.
number of them, right? So what I'm talking about is that nothing is right or wrong.
Yeah.
It is the situation that defines what is appropriate for that particular context.
Yeah.
And a leader needs to adapt to a certain style to cater to that need.
Yeah.
And that's how you define situational leadership,
Yes.
right? So for that, you need to be aware of the various leadership styles.
Mm.
Second, you need to be aware of the context.
Okay.
Third, you need to have the muscle, the adaptation muscle, right? Saying that, okay, understand which situation needs what kind of a style, and based on that, adapt that particular style and go forward with it. So that's what situational leadership is. And if you ask me, in the current context when everything is volatile, things are changing constantly, new contexts arise, and there's no definition of it, right? So the variables themselves change. In this current context, I think the situational leadership is something that really works for us.
Yeah. See, yeah, I think we are in a era of accepting technology, accepting consistent new technology. See, every gadget will have their own version, their own specifications, and hitting the market. So this technology that we are not able to halt, we are not able to stop it for certain time, but we are consuming it. We are consuming it in our own length and line. Now, my question is that where is the end to all these things? See, of course, I have asked you a very broader question. The technology and its linking towards the organizational improvement.
I don't know how to respond to this question because, see, there is a philosophical take on this question, right?
Yes.
There is a spiritual take on this question, and there is a corporate or organizational take on this question. Um, Let me go with my take. It will fall somewhere in the middle of all three, maybe. Uh, See, technology is an enabler. It's always an enabler, right? Technology is not the be all and end all. It is not the business. Business is about value creation.
Okay.
Right? Now you can always create value using pen and paper.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm in a financial industry myself. Finance doesn't need spreadsheets. It can be done on piece of paper. I can do calculations, mathematics in my brain, and I can tell you, right? I can suggest. Now, does a spreadsheet help? Yes, it definitely does. It makes things faster. It helps me remember a lot more things that my brain can capture. Recall is a lot faster. Now, from a simple spreadsheet, if I have a proper banking system or a financial advisory system that tells me, is it better? Yes, it is definitely better because there's some level of business logic now attached. It can cater to market. It can look at a lot more bigger data set and do some analytics and send me insights saying that, okay, you can look at these options when you're talking to your client, right? So, so technology, can the business value not be created without technology? Yes, it can be. Technology just makes it better, faster,
Yeah.
and scale. And you can provide value at scale. Now, if I'm doing it all in my head, I can maybe talk to a few people and can help them. I can remember their context, remember their life goals, and advise them on what they should do with their money, right? As a financial advisor, if I am, I'm just taking a use case here. But if I have access to tools, now the same logic and the same value can be provided to a lot more people.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not getting a personalized value. The type of value changes a little bit. I will not debate on good or bad, but you can reach a lot more people. You have access to a lot more data. You can process that, right? So basically, technology is enabling a more efficient process, efficient system, and a more effective system.
Okay.
And of course, scaling and helping your value proposition to scale to a lot more people than the narrow set of audience that you would have typically talked. So, so yeah, that's it. So if you want to scale, if you till the need to scale, till the need to make the processes more efficient exists, technology is required. Right. So yeah, there are certain compromises that you make. There is a cost to every choice.
Yes.
And the cost of using technology is also there. But yeah, you'll have to just debate as a community, as a society. You have to look at the cost of using the technology and see that, okay, as a community, are you okay with that? Are we okay with that?
Okay.
Because end of the day, evolution will not happen if there is no technology. If things don't become, if you are busy just creating food, agriculture, and the whole society or the community is just busy feeding the whole community, then other developments, scientific developments, machines don't happen because nobody is free to create those machines and to create other values, right?
Okay.
So, so technology enables evolution in some way because it makes people lazy, it makes people free.
Yes.
So when you're lazy and free, you're sleeping and you're with a full stomach on a safe environment, Maslow's first need, right?
Yeah.
You are thinking and you're imagining and you're dreaming about newer possibilities.
Yes.
And then at some point of time, the new possibilities, the dreams become reality, and that's where development occurs.
Yeah.
And the civilization goes forward, and you see new
Yes.
tools, new values, cities are built, man goes into space, etc., etc. So, so technology sometimes somewhere enables that as well.
Mm. Yeah, fine. Let us have last two questions about coaching.
Okay.
We got trained. So just a year ago. No, see, what are your thoughts about coaching? The very rudimentary thoughts of coaching.
Okay. See, the word coach, I first came across in the sports context, right? Starting from Tendulkar to Kambli to everybody, the great coaches in the world. Cricket, of course, being the Indian passion, right? So they always had coaches, and they are still all the cricketers, all the players, they still have coaches. Same thing with every other sport, they have coaches, right? Now the coaching word is connected to the corporate world also. So to me, I think the coaching is, if I can summarize what coaching means, to me it means that how can I uh, help you realize your true potential,
Yeah.
and a potential that you might not have imagined as well, right?
Okay. Fine.
So it goes beyond your own imagination. As a good coach, I should be able to understand, appreciate your true potential, and facilitate that process, the thinking process, to help you achieve that, right? On unlocking potential. So that's uh, to me is true coaching.
Yeah. So one last question before we wind up. See, there are many coaches nowadays. We came across the word coach when we talk about the cricket team or a cricket match.
Yeah.
But see, today we have got the coach to a cricket team, and there is a motivation coach, there's a organization development coach, there is a motivation coach, and there is again a sports coach again, and education consultant who is also said to be a student coach. They have not undergone any course, and they simply claim that they are a coach, and most importantly, NLP coach. So, can we replace the word coach with a master, guide, mentor, teacher? These are all very synonymous words, I think. Can you throw light on this thing, which is our last question in this discussion?
So clearly, I'll disagree with you a little bit on this. I don't think they're synonymous. Coaching, teaching, mentoring,
Mhm.
consulting, these are all different words, and they have got different meanings.
Yeah.
For me, they have got nuances. Now, they all are towards development of an individual, right? Their
Yes.
intent and the
Okay.
purpose is the same.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
about developing an individual, realize their true potential, and help them achieve that. That's the statement, right?
Yeah.
It is there. But the approach and the stance that everyone takes is a little different.
Yep.
So coaching is about helping with the thinking process,
Yep.
right? I am facilitating your thought process. I'm not giving solutions, but I help your thought process so that you come up with options.
Okay.
You realize what the options are there. You realize your resources. I just facilitate your thought process. I just hold that environment, right? Create that space for you so
Yeah.
that you can think clearly. And with very, very clearly articulated, clearly placed questions, I can help you explore the possibilities in your own head, right? That's pure coaching.
Okay.
Now, if you take to mentoring, mentoring comes from a position of strength. Now, for coaching, I don't need to be an expert on your field. I need to be just an expert in thinking, the way of thinking.
Okay.
And the way of thinking can apply, right? Uh, but as a mentor, I need to be an expert in a space that you are in. And I come with my own experiences and I help you, saying that, okay, there are different possibilities. So here you co-create possibilities. Here there's a collaborative effort of creating possibilities, creating choices. Of course, the option of taking the choice, the decision making is still with the coachee or the mentee, etc. But you're co-creating the choices. In a coaching and conversation, you don't co-create the choices. It's the coachee who creates the choices and takes this decision as to what he wants, what is the action plan that he or she wants to follow. Teaching is a one-way street. Teaching is different. Teaching is I talk, I have some knowledge, I have some experiences that I'm sharing. Maybe this session is more like a teaching session, right? And you listen to it, and you have a choice to take it and utilize it the way you want to or not. That's your choice completely. But there is no two-way conversation. It's a one-way conversation. I'm just sharing my experiences, my knowledge, etc. Now consulting is a different thing. You co-create solutions, you even co-deliver or co-execute solutions also, and there are other methods. So it's all towards the same goal, but I feel all these things have got different nuances, and they have got different stances. Now, when you're a coach, when you see the NLP coach, or that is a different designation or a category. So it is about what purpose you're reaching at, right? So there, NLP coach is mostly used in a life coach situation. So if you have a life problem, you have a situation you're facing, or you want a life goal that you want to achieve, and you need some help, you go for a life coach. You have a professional sports problem, you have a cricket stance that is not correct, and you need help with correcting your cricket stance, you go to a batting coach. Similarly with the bowling coach, similarly with the fielding coach. So depending on the outcome that you desire, you go to an expert who you feel that can help you coach there. Now, that is a mixture. Actually, if you ask me honestly, that's a mixture of mentorship and coaching as well, right? Because you're coming from the position of strength, position of expertise. Okay, I have gone through that situation, and I'm based on my experience, but I'm still observing you. It's your context, not my context. But I come from my strength and helping you. So, and by the way, in the real world, the stances that I was talking about, teaching, coaching, mentoring, etc., facilitating conversations, etc., now all the stances are interchangeably used. I don't think you can do pure coaching all the time. Sometimes you have to mentor, sometimes you have to facilitate, sometimes you have to teach, sometimes you have to just order around as well if things are not happening, right? And as parents, as friends, as managers, colleagues, even sons and anything, right? Any relationship, we use these stances. So there are two categories here: the type of conversation, what is my stance that I'm using, and the second is that what outcome that I am going after. I think these are the various. These are the two ways that I have seen coaching or categorization of coaching. And that's what my definition is. So when people are looking at the organization or the overall world of coaching, right, they should understand what they're getting into, what their desired goal is, what kind of stance are they comfortable with, what are they looking for in that conversation, and then go to that. So yeah, so that's my take on coaching, mentoring, teaching, that world altogether, right? Yeah, I hope it helped.
Yeah. So your words are very much true. I agree with whatever the discussion that happened. So thank you so much, Amit, for coming here. So it is the first ever session that we are recording under the campaign of exploration. And if we get a chance, and if you get a time, we'll be meeting up again on different aspect. Thank you so much. Namaskaram again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. It was really great talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.